Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I'm looking at this jawline, and I'm looking at that jawline, and best jawline in the game, I must say, and my girl agrees. But I'm not just joking. Um, where's my brethren in Tuscaloosa, Alabama? Shout out to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And when we speak Tuscaloosa, Alabama here on True School Sports and in the world of boxing, there's only one name we could be alluding to. It's Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Correct. But Deontay Wilder has a brother, okay, and he comes in the form of Marsellos Wilder. So this is a very interesting story, okay? Very interesting story coming out of Tuscaloosa. Shouts out to the Tuscaloosa News for putting out the story. Marsellos Wilder, cruiserweight, pro debut, slated for May the 25th. He'll be fighting a guy named Jalen Anthony, who is 0-4. So pretty much it's a your run-of-the-mill pro debut. If you're someone like Marsellos Wilder at his level, you're gonna fight a guy that you can beat to get off on the right foot. And if you can't beat this guy, then you might as well hang your damn boxing gloves up because dude's 0-4. But let's get into it, man. Marsellos Wilder, cruiserweight. He's making his debut on May 25th at the Alabama Hawks Boxing Hall of Fame induction ceremony and fight card event, and that'll be next Friday at the what is it called, the Tuscaloosa Riverwalk. So big shout out to him. But this is a guy that obviously he had aspirations of playing in the NFL, much like his brother, I'm sure did, because I've heard Deontay Wilder say that he had dreams of playing for the Alabama Crimson Tide. But he picked up boxing later in life. I know he's been training for quite some time because I remember when Deontay Wilder got into the little scuffle with Tony Bellew. You had his brother yelling at Tony Bellew, and I remember I did some research on his brother, and I found out that he was an amateur, and I found out that he's been training, and it's been a thing. It's been something he's working towards for quite some time now. So it's good to see that he's finally in the process and gonna take that first step and make his pro debut. But basically, here's what Marsellos Wilder said in regards to just boxing and why he picked up the sport and whatnot. He said, I quote, "I didn't want to sit around and just work. I wanted to be an athlete. I love what I do, and I fell in love with it. Now I'm about to make something out of it." They both train. It also is worth knowing that they both do train out of the same gym. They both work under Mr. JD's, and he just felt like Marsellos Wilder is a guy he sparred with Deontay Wilder. So when you spar with that guy Deontay Wilder, you'll know real quick whether or not you're going to be someone who could last in a boxing ring. He obviously took a lot from that experience, and at least enough from that experience to know or to tell himself and make him believe in himself enough to step into that ring and make his pro debut. So big shout out to him. He went on by saying further saying, I quote, "My first beatings came from my brother. The first time I ever sparred, it was against my brother, and he definitely didn't take it lightly. When I was going through that with my brother, I asked myself, could I be able to get in the ring and take this type of beating again? And yeah, I could. So I continued on doing it. I'm facing a guy named Jalen Anthony. I don't know much about him. I just hope he's ready because I am." JD's the trainer also chimed in by saying, I quote, "Pro debuts, you never know, but Marsellos, the thing that I was most impressed with in his last amateur fight was that he was so calm and relaxed. Usually these young guys are just all over the place, but Marsellos demonstrated a real calmness. He picked his shots, and he made the shots count. I hope to see a continuation of that." Then Marsellos will go on to say, "There's a thrill that you get from it. Most of all for me, I just want to go in and get the W. Hey, if I get the knockout, that's a bonus for me." So obviously this is a guy that's, we're paying attention to him because of his brother. We know his brother is a top heavyweight. We don't know what he's going to be. For those of you who may be asking, he is campaigning not a heavyweight. He's campaigning at cruiserweight. He's a bit smaller than his brother. He's not as his shoulders aren't as wide, but he still has that long, lanky frame. So we'll see, man. I've only seen a handful of clips here and there that are available on YouTube. He seems to fight a lot like his brother, hold his hands a lot like his brother, and as his career begins to develop, I'll definitely cover it because it's something to look out for. And I know a lot of people probably won't cover the story. So, Marsellos Wilder, the brother of the Bronze Bomber, WBC heavyweight champion, Deontay Wilder, making his pro debut May 25th, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So, congrats to him on that. And I wish him nothing but success. And, have a good fight.